Good evening, and I love you. I'm Heather Peterson Lockhart. I have good stuff for you this evening. Information on what's going on in the cosmos this week. I want to share what that means for you, what you can do with it. I can't wait to update you on what is going on with me in my personal life and with my family and what that means for my community. And mostly, I'm just here right now to share some experience, strength, and hope, just to hang out with you. To be a safe place and a gentle voice and a heart filled with love. A safe harbor for a little while. There's a lot going on for a whole lot of people. So let us come together with our open hearts and calm down our minds and spend a few minutes together connecting, sharing information, sharing energy, sharing love. And we'll see what that looks like on the other side. So there's a whole lot going on this week. It's an absolutely huge deal. It is arguably one of the most transformative, transmutational weeks of all time. At least of our lives. Yeah, for sure. It's really that big of a deal. And so we're going to talk about it, but first let's calm down. I have a heart chakra bowl and a root chakra bowl in front of me here, and I'm going to play both. And I invite you just to close your eyes and breathe with me for a little bit and settle down so we can settle in together and feel. That might sound so silly, but for real. We're so caught up right now with everything that's going on that most of us are forgetting to breathe and forgetting to calm down. And it's going to be a really big deal if it's not already. So anyway, before I babble anymore, let's go ahead and close our eyes. Put your feet flat on the ground and hold your hands up with your palms up. And that is just saying that my hands and my heart and my head are open. Let's bring our heart centers forward and our belly buttons forward, and go ahead and pull your shoulders back with an erect spine. And that's a really nice meditation posture. And so with that beautiful, strong spine, let's go ahead and take a big breath in through your nose and let it go out through your mouth like this. And in through your nose and out through your mouth and in through your nose and out through your mouth, and relax your breathing. Let your eyes smile. Let your mouth relax. Let your shoulders giggle. Wiggle your toes. Relax your fingers. And now you can take your left hand and put it on your heart. Take your right hand and put it on your left and say, I love you, to your body that hosts this beautiful life for you. Say, I love you, to the earth that gives us the body and the air we breathe and the water we drink. I said that backwards. And say, I love you, to a power greater than we that has it all divinely orchestrated and is compassionately conducting accordingly. And let's take one more great big breath in fingers and your toes filled with new, clean energy, and open your eyes gently. Beautiful. Okay, so welcome to one of the most transitional, transformative weeks of our lives. That's what's up. That's for real. I'm gonna have to move this bowl every time I talk or say something loud, or if I bump it, we'll be hearing. It might not be a bad deal. It will tone our root chakras. It's a big bowl. Okay, so we have a lot to discuss. We're coming to the end of a 16-year cycle, and then, to be honest, a 2,000-year cycle. So we have two massive planetary changes this week. We have two planets changing gears that's going to completely shift our energy and make us, we're going to feel the changes in these shifts. And so there are some ways that we can show up for ourselves, and then we can show up in turn for others in a better position. And so I just wanted to show up tonight and spend some time. So I have shared, this is, needless to say, there's a lot of change on planet Earth, isn't there? There's a lot of change in everyone's individual life. There's a lot of change in the planet herself. There's just a lot going on, isn't there? And so instead of talking about like each individual thing changing, I think it's for me, this is the best way I have found to put a nice story, an understandable story on the dynamic occurring on planet Earth. So when humans first started, we were in a pretty low vibrating state of consciousness. Not that we're operating much higher now, since we still kill each other and the planet that we live on. That's arguable. But all that aside, the Earth herself has decided to raise her consciousness and her way of being, right? And her standard of living, if you will, on her planet. And so she has sent out the beacon and said, hey, let's say that we had 40-watt light bulbs on planet Earth before. We had a 40-watt way of living, right? And it's not very bright. It's not very conductive. It's not very bright. It's not filled with light. It's a pretty dim existence. So the humans were geared, like the little light bulbs, geared for 40 watts of energy, right? And she says, I'll use my buzzword, I want to recalibrate. I want to make each and every unit capable of hosting 100 watts of energy. I want to recalibrate all of my creatures and my standard of living. I want more compassion. I want more conductivity. I want more light, she says. Yes? And so the 40-watt human gets the ability to go to a 100-watt human, okay, and increase his or her conductivity. Now, that sounds fabulous, doesn't it? It's like going from a flip phone to a smartphone. But in that degree of increase of conductivity, the human has to go through some pretty significant changes, most often in their consciousness and also in their biology, okay? They have to change their way of believing and behaving to a way that's more conducive to a higher vibration. They have to learn to live in compassion, first of all, for self, and then second of all, for everything around them and the source itself. It has to be all in harmony. It can't be one at the expense of the other. So if we're trying to put the world in front of us, it's not going to work. And if we're trying to put us in front of the world, it's not going to work. And so we're being given these lessons and experiences right now as she is changing in vibration. There's nothing wrong with what's going on with her processes. It's not good or bad. It's simply evolution. And so as she raises in vibration and her conductivity changes, so does her explosions, her water. all of her living systems. You know, we're talking about electricity, we're talking about magnetism, we're talking about gravity. Look how much all of these were recently affected with that moon cycle that tipped off these storms. That was the eclipse. That was the full moon. The full moon in, I'm forgetting what the full moon was in, and the new moon, full moon lunar eclipse and new moon solar eclipse in Libra. So powerful astrological dynamics that affect the water on this planet as she changes her level of conductivity. And what's really going on is we're having a massive paradigm change. Thank God. Thank God that the things that are falling apart right now are falling apart because they are no longer useful. As we become capable of hosting a higher vibration and conducting our individual selves and then subsequently our systems in a greater degree of love, we don't act so heinous and we don't do stupid shit like we're doing right now, right? So the good news is, and let me talk about this first. The reason I called this Turn the Power On is because it's gonna feel really dark in the next little bit. We've got, I think it's 2 days, and just about 2 days from the time you watch. If you're watching this now, it's like 2 days, let's say the 7th, 8th, 9th. Yes, on the 9th. If you're watching this now, in 2 days, Jupiter goes retrograde. Okay, Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of higher consciousness, of higher belief, of feeling lucky, you know, Uncle Jupiter, Zeus, of feeling like it's all going to be all right. It's all going to be okay. And so when Jupiter goes retrograde right now in Gemini, with all these other things, Mars in shadow, we have Pluto about to go direct at the same time. Pluto's about to go direct in Capricorn for the last time in our lives. And this is huge. This is, I don't want to, let me think how I want to use the words. I'll put it this way, because I don't like to speak more of and give power to what I don't want more of. So I will say this. Pluto is in charge of financial systems, financial structures, the old way, okay? And Pluto and Capricorn, that's all of that, right? So this last hurrah, that's exactly what it is. It's like a last hurrah for all of those systems and all of those energies and entities to give it the last go round while they feel like they have that power of Pluto and Capricorn. Because once Pluto goes into Aquarius, the whole game changes. And, you know, Pluto is just in Aquarius, and we felt that different vibe. We felt things differently. And so for most of us, as Pluto has dipped back into Capricorn, which, by the way, never happens. Pluto does not leave a sign and then come back into a sign and stay for a little while longer before stationing direct permanently in another sign. So these are really interesting things because the universe is mathematical. So most everything can be traced back to this happened this time, this happened this time. So when you have really like rogue planetary transits, it's a really easy way to me to tell that like, well, Spirit's really speaking, like massive transitional times here. This is when I really pay attention. This is when I show up. And that's why I study this stuff. That's why I learn this stuff, because if I can pay attention to what's going on planetarily and what energies are being lent, then especially in my own chart, in my own life, I can make sure that I'm paying attention and that I'm allowing my perspective to change and to mold and to evolve, especially in those areas. It's like knowing where the spotlight is being shown, and so I'm able to pay attention and focus. So Pluto coming direct in Capricorn is going to be that old vibe again. Most of us are probably going to feel like we don't have our shit together. We're going to feel like we failed in some way. With that, one thing I would tell you, I was going to say one thing I could tell you that's going to help you on that. This will help you if you showed up. It may not help you if you didn't. It just is what it is. It's that time on Earth. But for Pluto going direct in Capricorn, you can give yourself kind of a grade for the last 16 years. For the last 16 years, Pluto has been in Capricorn. And if you showed up to your life is really different in some ways because Pluto massively worked on you. If you're a Capricorn, you're an entirely new human being than you were when Pluto came into your sign. It's been really, really hard on we Capricorns. It's been extremely trying. I know that literally up until this last week, and I kind of feel like only during this last week do I sort of feel like I'm finally starting to kind of walk out of the hallway of like, who am I and who do I want to be and what am I about and what's really important, because this Pluto coming back into Capricorn this last time as a Capricorn has really like knocked me on my ass in terms of like Pluto comes in your sign and cleans out your closet, like burns your shit to the ground. Everything that's not working, burns it to the ground. Doesn't have the slightest bit of concern how it makes you feel. And it's all for your highest evolution. And then the thing is, it's like tough, honest love though. Like the deepest, darkest, there's no off limits is how hard Pluto will push you to help you grow. But if you show up and heed the lesson, like Pluto will pat you on the back and then Pluto will deliver. And so during this Pluto come direct in Capricorn time, if you've shown up for your own evolution, Pluto is delivering. And it's easy to tell if you look around. Like, you know, I'm not sure exactly, well, I was going to say I'm not sure exactly what changed in me, but I suppose it's not just one thing. That's kind of a silly thing to say. My entire perspective is different now than it used to be on life itself. But so if I say when some people are like, well, how do I know if this is a good deal for me? How do I know if this is working for me? Does it feel good? Is it moving forward in a beneficial way? Are you enjoying yourself? It's not really as hard as we think it is. If you get a payoff on everything, or you wouldn't engage in it. But if things are a good deal for you and they're beneficial, then they feel good and they're moving forward. And you can tell that right now. And if they're not, if you're continuing to butt up against something, and if you're continuing to be in a situation or a relationship, and this might even be with yourself, where you're constantly hurting, then it's time to let that shit go. Like, that's not the way. That's why it hurts. If you're in a bad relationship with yourself and you don't like yourself, and therefore you probably don't like a lot of the people and the things around you, it doesn't feel good. You're not happy. You don't wake up ready to get up and go and get at life, right? I think a lot of those people, anyway, I'm going to keep that part. So the deal is, we're in a massive transition here. You guys, this isn't just a little shift. This is a whole paradigm change. We've been living in a paradigm where, I'm not sure what I can say on here. Human biology, I will say, and human energy is used as the major operating currency in some systems, and that time has come to an end. Wonderfully, that system has served its time, and we gratefully have been able to learn from it and learn the products of that way of living. And we know it doesn't work now. I'm just going to say it like that. I'll say it like that for now. And so as more things come to light about how certain religions were constructed, certain governments were constructed, certain practices were constructed, certain things that have been going on this planet, I'm not sure, you know, like, here, check this out. Straight up. Watch this really quick. Okay, so human is the oldest operating religious practice on the planet. Yep. And I know it's backwards for y'all, but I don't know how to write backwards. Ritual goes right along with that. I gotta break those words up because some of those words will get me taken off. That's why I stall for a second when I'm talking, because I'm not sure how much of that I want to bring up. Because the thing is, here's the deal. It's not that I'm afraid to talk about it. It's that that's the problem, and the problem is over. Well, I say that. We're learning how big the problem is. Okay? I personally, as a soul, it's my job to see and live in and embrace and understand and know the solution. And so I understand the current. It's funny when I speak, I hear the science words and the science definitions. I understand the current. I also embody this vibration. In fact, put science on that. I don't want to make it too complicated. There's crazy stuff going on Earth right now. And then as more of it comes to light, and with these planetary shifts that affect our energy, this is a whole lot for a lot of people. It's going to feel like the lights are off. It's going to feel like things are really bleak. And it's sort of like, you know, the end, impending doom type stuff. And the thing is, this is when we have to turn the lights on within. This is when we have to create safe space inside ourselves and learn how to nurture ourselves and calm ourselves down and give ourselves those things that we need fundamentally so that we feel safe and secure. And only then can we be of service to those around us. And then that's the next step. Because the earth is continuing to change and the systems are crumbling and the communities are becoming extremely volatile and in need of help and in need of service. And so we can't give what we don't have. And so, you know, it's a trip. I was going to share this story this morning. My son, he was getting ready to go somewhere and he had a lot going on. He's a lot going on, right? And I'm his mom, so I'm up his butt, and I'm his teacher, so I'm up his butt, you know what I mean? And I was hollering at him about something. I wasn't really hollering at him. I was telling him to do something. And then I said, hey, have you got outside the ground yet today? Because I make him touch his feet on the ground and physically and energetically ground. And he's been doing that since he was 2.5, 3 years old. I'm trying to think when we started that practice. It is, by the way, the best. If I had to pick a single practice of everything that I've taught my child, I would say that is the most important, incredible thing I've taught my kid, which is really neat. We'll talk more about that. And if one of you reminds me in the future, I will make a grounding, energetic meditation video for kids. Absolutely. It's on my list. Just get on me about it. But, so, cause it's a game changer. When he was little, we had a lot going on. We had a lot going on with our family, and I couldn't control all of his circumstances, and I couldn't control all of his environments. And so all I could do was give him tools to try to help him learn to settle himself down, regardless of his environment and regardless of his situation. And so now he's been doing it for longer than I've been doing it, possibly. well, the same amount of time, but in proportion to his life. Do you know what I'm saying? It affects him differently than it does me. So anyway, I was asking him if he'd gone outside to ground. And he said to me, he's like, Mom, I have a lot going on. I can't right now. And I said, you can walk outside and ground. I was like, you're pretty spun up. You need to go outside. And he's like, well, I can't do the prayer and everything about it like that. And I said, okay, just go outside. So when he walked outside, he sat down and he had his feet on the ground, and I came up behind him and I kind of like bumped on his back, like, and I was matching my my vibration with his energy, like his agitation. That's what it was. I was matching my vibration with his level of agitation. And so I thumped on his back a little, and he's like, you know, what are you doing? And I said, I'm messing with you a little bit. And so then I talked with him, you know, a little bit, and then, you know, he calms down and I calm down my hands on his back. And anyway, he comes inside and he's more calm and he's in a better mood. And I said to him, hey, it's that time. And he said, what do you mean? And I said, you can't skip this stuff. You can't skip that. I said, you know how you were really spun up this morning and you're about to go spend time with people who also have a lot going on? You know, like these people that you're about to go spend time with, they have a lot going on in all aspects of their life. So he's going to go from one spun up state of mind to chances are a situation that's going to be very similar, right? And excuse me. What we don't realize as humans is when we go from one situation like that to the next, to the next, to the next, and we don't take a breath in between and we don't decompress in between, by the end of the day, energetically, we're pretty spun out. We don't feel very sound. The conductivity of our circuit is not very conducive, right? And so we're generally saying things like we feel anxious, or we have a hard time sleeping, or we feel agitated, or whatever. So I said to him, I know you don't think you have time right now when you feel like that. And that when you feel like that, you feel like you got to go and you got to get it all done. And you don't feel like you have time for the grounding and the prayer. But this is the time when you have to do the grounding and the prayer. This is the time when you have to stop and say, you know what? I recognize I feel like this. I've got to do the stuff to calm myself down before I go engage in another situation. Because you bring your vibration to that situation. And if you're not cognizant of it and we don't become aware of it, then we're just going to be reacting to all of these situational vibrations around us. And that's not going to be a good deal, especially in communities that are, like I said, going to continue to become a little more wonky because there's so much going on. And most people don't know how to calm themselves down because most of us have not learned anything like that. I was speaking with someone today and he's a grown man, and that's what he was saying, that he is becoming aware of some of the things that he didn't learn as a kid now because he's a grown up. And he's seeing that he didn't have them. That makes sense. You know, like you don't know until you. What I'm trying to say is, we don't realize how fundamentally unsafe and wound up we are until we get in times like this, where we realize how hard it is to settle ourselves down. Yeah. And so as the distractions become more and more intense, the art of creating safe space is going to also become more challenging. And that's why it's a practice. You know, meditation is a practice. I say meditation is a practice because that's how I do it. I said that as if it was a given and I expected you to understand. I'm starting to learn that I speak that way. And so I'm starting to try to become aware of it. Without meditation, I wouldn't be able to function very well at all. So I spend time in meditation every day, if not once, more than once. And You can always just start with like 5 minutes of sitting still, or 5 minutes of walking and paying attention to what your feet are walking on, or what things look like around you. All of these are forms of meditation, and benefit your ability to calm your mind space. Because what we're really trying to do is settle down all the jibber jabber in there so that we can actually receive all the cool messages that are flowing to us and streaming to us at any given moment. But most of us are on like, blah, 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 blah. I'm praying, I'm talking, I'm manifesting, I'm saying a mantra, I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it, I'm on it. I'm praying, I'm talking, I'm manifesting, I'm saying a mantra. Blah, 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 blah. Like there's no breath, right? And so we're on transmit and we've got no receive. And so we're not getting the best stuff that we can get. So when you meditate, you calm the mind, you still the mind, and you raise your vibration. You raise your vibration by calming your mind. The lack of thought. Get a load of this. Your lack of thought is a higher vibration than most people's existing best mindful space. That goes to show you how much is running under the current, how much is subconscious, how much is streaming into there that we have no idea it's going on, right? I know, it's crazy, right? So it's like things are your vibration is constantly trying to raise. Your creativity, your abundance, your ability to receive, your biology itself actually is continuously improving and raising constantly, and it would continue to do so if you did not run a subconscious program saying otherwise. It's like a balloon or a ball in the water. It would continue to rise until you hold it down, and you are the one that destroys its buoyancy. How about that? I know. So then the work becomes becoming in touch with what's going on in your own self so you can eliminate the bullshit and get the messages. I know, it's really cool stuff. That is other videos. That's what people are calling modern day manifestation. It's really getting out of your own way. Anyway, what I really want to just talk to you about today, blah, 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 did I say that right? Is that we're about to have this really big shift in energy. And the thing is, and then as Jupiter goes retrograde, remember when a planet goes retrograde, the planet is really not moving backwards. It's more like it's standing still, but because we're moving, it's going to go back over the territory that it just covered. So we're going to have the same stuff that we were just doing for the last few months in our plate. So we're going to be eating the same food and we're going to be digesting it. And we're going to be deciding if we want more, if maybe we want to structure it a little bit differently. So it's a really important time to learn to settle ourselves down. Because things, like I said, it's going to get really more crazy on the planet. She's really heating up, that's going down. And the thing is, this is a challenging thing for me to say. The way it is, let me say it this way. The way I understand it is that we are all sovereign souls. And we come and we get a skin suit and we contract for a set of experiences for our highest evolution. And for each one of us, that's different. And that embodiment of soul in the skin suit, and then that package that we pick up from our Akash, from our family, from our lineage, from our own soul evolution, from our ancestry. It's like a little, I don't want to say it's a suitcase because it's got such a derogatory connotation with like carrying luggage. Let's call it a knapsack, right? Like, or a backpack. Like it's an essential deal that we come with, because these things are the things. Perfect analogy. It is a knapsack and it is kind of heavy because these things are the things that keep weight on us. If you are at all familiar with the, oh, I wish I had that card. I do have that card somewhere. I know where she is. If you're at all familiar with the Egyptian goddess Ma'at, or the principle of Ma'at, the principle of Ma'at is, she is the goddess of is it justice? Not justice. Judgment. No. Before you go to the afterworld, you go see Mat. And what she does is she takes out your heart and she puts it in her scales of balance. Like, you know, you see the scales of balance for the sign Libra, right? Well, this Mat is the one that's holding that scale. And in one side of the scale is your heart. And in the other side is an ostrich feather. And what she's doing is she's weighing the weight of your heart. And if your heart is heavy with justice, I was right the first time. If your heart is heavy with resentment or grief or weight of inability to love self and therefore to really allow love for self from others, then your heart would tip the scale, you see? I don't know if I'm showing that to you. Your heart has to be as light as the ostrich feather in order to go into into the what was the word I'm trying to think of? Not the overworld, not the underworld, to the mysterious beyond. I don't know what I'm trying to say. And that's the same, to go back to the analogy I was just giving you. So you've got this knapsack that's got stuff in it, and you contract set of experiences so that you can grow. And if you can make peace with those experiences, regardless of what they are, and the people that were involved in them, regardless of what they are and regardless of who they are, then you can free your heart of resentment and bitterness and weight. And then you can move on. And so, you know, Spirit puts, what do you call them? Spiritual dispensations. Dispensations of, I would just call it that. It's a dispensation of, it's kind of wordy, dispensation of compensation. Sounds like I'm trying to be Dr. Zeus. But Spirit puts some regulations on earth because not every soul is of a consciousness and caliber yet. That soul comes and is like, I'm going to put my best boots on and evolve and do the best thing for me and my fellow humans. Not so much just yet. So Spirit puts spiritual dispensations on earth so that we all got to kind of follow the rules. And one of the biggest spiritual dispensations of compensation is karma. So, you know, you don't get to come be a heel and then not have to do that. So that knapsack is the collection of the stuff you carry because of your karma. And so you get to contract these experiences. And so some people that come, like when you look at their chart, they have retrograde planets or planet placements that are just really challenging. And then they have some really challenging experiences. And when I see those charts and I meet those people, I'm like, whoa. You came to free your family. Like, talk about, like, I'm not big on the term spiritual warrior, but that's when I would use it. Like, that's when you came to turn it up. You know what I mean? Like, because these experiences are never in vain. These are experiences are lent to you so that you can grow from them and free your heart from anything you hold about it. And when you do that, you literally set yourself and your family free. It's remarkable when I work in family healings with people or sessions with people where, like, one, it happens often, is like when people have witnessed their mother's death, witnessed the death of a parent, like they were there, they were on the phone or they were in the room or whatever, and they have all these feelings that go with it, or they had a lot of ill feelings towards a parent when the parent was dying. They've got all this stuff inside, right? Well, when that soul in front of me is able to process that stuff and set it free, they literally set the parent free. The energy changes. You have to remember that we are quantum. And even though that parent is not here in the flesh and the blood in the same skin since they were here before. The energy didn't go anywhere. It's in a different form. And so you are bringing freedom and healing to your whole family, whether they're here or not. It's beautiful. So anyway, that's all that. Let me think if I have anything else to tell you. My main focus of this whole thing today is just to sit here with you and to tell you to take some time to show up for yourself. Like, it's that time. It's the only important thing right now. And when I say that, when I say show up for yourself, it does not mean abandon your personal responsibilities and your family and your job. It means learn to listen to what's going on inside of your heart and inside of your brain and inside of your body. Those are all different things. And then learn to listen to what you need so you can calm down. Learn to give those things to yourself. Learning to listen to yourself to begin with is huge. Most of us don't feel that we received that from another human being, or that we didn't have that really beautiful dialogue, or we would have those relationships in our life right now. So take some quiet time, ideally first thing in the day, and just sit quiet for 5 minutes. And if you've never done something like this before, sit quiet for 5 minutes. Teach your babies, okay? Take your babies with you. Sit quiet for 5 minutes, first thing in the day, right when you wake up. You might even do this sitting in the bed, all right? In fact, this is what I did with my son. And you close your eyes, and then you just kind of feel your body, and you sort of become aware of your body. And maybe you say, like, you know, my tummy's rumbly, or my toes need moving. But you start to listen to your body, feel your body, become aware of your body, right? And then what's your heart saying? What's your mind saying? And then it might be a good time to say some really positive things out loud. Like, I am a beautiful child of the Most High, and the earth is a fun and safe place for me today. And you say these things out loud, and you can, when my son was little, it makes me giggle, because we started this, he would be like 5 years old, right? And so the things with him right then, what he would always say is, I'm a light boy. And then he would go, I'm fast. So he would be a light boy. He would be fast. We would be smart. We would say these things about ourselves that were really good. And we would go back and forth. We would have a sort of like a little wordplay game of all these good things about ourselves upon rising that would put us in this place where we felt really capable. And we felt really positive. And we felt really in that grateful to be us. And it was exciting. And the day was exciting. And so that's a beautiful thing to do all by yourself, or to do with your children. So right when you wake up, you get everybody together, or you sit by yourself, and you just listen to your body. And then ask your body, how do you feel today? It might sound so crazy, but you guys, it's a way to start. I mean, this is the way I give to grown men to start. Ask your body out loud. How do you feel? And then ask your heart, okay? How do you feel? And you're going to get an answer. And then ask your brain. Ask your brain, how do you feel? And you'll get different answers from each system. And then if you want, you might know what to say or what to do depending upon the answers right at that point. But if you don't, then you can also ask your body and your heart and your brain what they need to feel better. And so if you're working with your children and your child's heart says, I'm scared of Skeletor, or something like that, whatever they say, right, when they're really little. And you're like, oh, okay, I hear that. What do you think your heart needs to hear so that he would know that he is safe today? And Skeletor is not his deal. And then that child will give you an answer. And the thing is, that little bit of dialogue right there, that child is also, you're teaching that baby to get in touch with their inner dialogue, with their inner self, their higher self. And they're learning to have the dialogue with self and then to relay that dialogue to you. That's where it's at. So, that's all I have for all y'all on that. The other things are, I am kicking off a entirely new facet of my business. And I'm also kicking off a new character. For those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know that I do this. It's really called cognitive behavioral therapy, but I didn't know when I first started. I call it grown-up dress-up. I often invent a new version of myself so that I can give myself the freedom to become a new version of me, because otherwise I'm like, well, Heather does this and Heather does that. Heather doesn't do this and Heather doesn't do that. And then I worry about what other people are going to say when I want to do or be someone new. And that shuts my shit down. Yes. And I don't want to do that anymore. I really want to continue evolving and becoming who I want to be. So, funny that I use those words because it leads right into it. I am launching a new part of my business and a whole new character. I am going to brand myself as Honey Bee Vitality. Yes, the queen of vitality. The queen bee. And it's all about our being. And I am kicking off Vitality Quantum Health. And I am offering Scalar healing treatments in conjunction with quantum nutrition. So I have been a practicing nutritionist for almost 30 years. Oh my goodness, that's a long time. Ooh, yes, 29 years, for 29 years. And at this point, I can help anyone attain the aesthetics and the biology they desire. Getting the body is easy. What I'm really interested in now is organ health, is vitality in our energy. Do we like ourselves? Do we sleep well? Are we able to feel calm and settle down enough to reach inside our heart and bring forth the gifts therein? Yes, this is what I'm all about. So I have a brand new, I'm kicking my set here, a brand new Rife frequency machine. Most of you are probably not going to have a clue what I'm talking about, so I'm going to start trickling out information and education little bit by little bit and start to become familiar. The quick explanation and education for you is we are a composition, we're actually a compilation of frequencies. If you know anything about the chakras, then you have a basic understanding that you have these energy centers in your body, and that each energy center is in charge of certain function, certain organs, and certain spiritual and emotional evolution and development, okay? And each one is, no one can be replaced by the other, and each one is responsible for individual and specific duties, if you will. And so each one of those also has its own frequency. When it's operating in its ideal frequency, we have a balanced chakra, and those organs and those systems connected with that chakra are operating ideally. When it's either overcharged or undercharged, then we have system issues, we have biological issues, we have organ issues. So we can treat each and every frequency and the body and heal the body. We can make the perfect little scalar cocktail. Yes, the healing generated from this machine and these practices is out of this world phenomenal. This is old school science. This is using science from Tesla and Rife. And so I know those are starting to be talked about a lot more now. And it's neat because your body is this beautiful battery. And as you learn to reboot its conductivity and sort of you gotta recharge your cells. You gotta give yourself the right frequencies for the right function. And so what we do is we scan your system and we find out exactly what's going on inside you and what we want to stay in there and what we don't want to stay in there. And then we start running programs to detoxify you and then to reboot your energy and increase your immune system. And then whatever you have specifically going on, like if you are treating a healing gum issue, a tooth and gum issue, if you have an ovarian issue, If you're dealing with a lot of lethargy and low energy, all of these things can be treated, and we can design the ideal cocktail just for you so that we can continue to transmit these frequencies to you and not only create the healing, but what's the word I'm looking for? Sustain the healing. These are not quick fix measures. Like I said, I'll go into more, and I'll start giving you little bits of education and trickle more stuff out as we go. But this is phenomenal. I've already been working with scalar energy in my skincare products. Y'all know that. This gives me the ability to dial in with even more precision and personal care, so I can create custom products for you depending on what's going on with your own biology. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. So there's that. There's the fact that I will be developing this personality, Honeybee Vitality, yes, where I will learn to talk nice, say what I want more of, and not say what I don't want more of. Yes, that is extremely challenging to me, and that's why I have to adopt a little accent for right now and a little persona, because truth be told, if I don't, I find myself reacting to some of the dumb in front of my face. Yes, I can't make everybody behave in the way that I choose. I can't make them believe in the way that I choose. So I have to be happy all by myself in my own circle, doing what I want to do and being who I want to be. Yes. So that's what I'm gonna do, yeah. And it ends up being contagious to those around me because I end up having so much damn fun in my new characters that others want to play with me. Which brings me to the next thing. Okay, so I got a couple more announcements and then I'm gonna let y'all go. I'll pull you a card if you want before I go, and you can ask me a question if you got anything you want. Okay, so we're hosting monthly events if you're local. We have a monthly meditation that you can come to, and you can bring your family. And if you're wondering how old your kids gotta be, they gotta be old enough to sit still and be quiet for 20 minutes. That's how old they gotta be. I have kicked off the secret, super secret, cosmically creative society of the Woo-Woo Sisterhood. Yes! I've been woo-woo for my whole life, and I've been dodging it, trying to keep it down low, saying silly things like, I know this is going to sound so woo-woo, but... And you know what? I'm finally realizing that the woo-woo is where it's at. So, we've created the Society of Woo-Woo Sisterhood, and we are having monthly meetings if you're local and if you're a woman. Or I guess if you identify as female. I don't even know how the hell that shit goes anymore. But anyway, if you're local and you want to come to a meeting of the Woo-Woo Sisterhood, you holler at me, okay? We do feminine things, like we got together for our first time this last month and we had a water meditation, and then we ate together. We all brought delicious food and it was womanly and I loved it. And I love playing with other girls because I'm trying to learn to become this new version of myself where I have more feminine energy and love around me, operating from a more balanced place. Yes. So, okay, I got the events. I got my new business, my buzz, and then my final thing is I have a product in honor of the Woo-Woo Sisterhood. I have launched Woo-Woo Spice. Yes, we also had samples of Woo-Woo Spice at our first Woo-Woo meeting. This is a deliciously spicy, exotic, erotic fragrance. It's in a roller ball. These are on sale for the month of October for $16. Yes, you can get your own unique Flutter by Butterfly. You get to pick your design. And as always, all of these products are chemical free and preservative free, and everything is charged with bioscalar energy. So when you use any of these products, I need to stop that because I realize how loud that is to y'all. When you use any of my products, your entire body becomes immune from Wi-Fi, cell phone, and ELF wave exposure for 2.5 days. The reason is we charge the water in your body. Okay? So your water in your body, this is a lot of information, creates a field around you, And we want that field to be so clean that the junk doesn't come in. You can't go, honey, and resist and tear down the crazy, but you sure can become so beautiful that they don't knock on your door. So you can click on the link in my description of this video, and you can shop my store, and you can get woo-woo spice in any of my products on there. It's really yummy. It smells like there are some like hippie patchouli undertones, and then it's got like a little cinnamon clovey spicy. There's no citrus in it, and it's just nice. It just smells like a woo-woo gathering to me. So you can check that out. If you're interested in any of my services, you guys can do Scalar treatments local, and you can also do them remote. And I also do the meditation and just the calm down sessions online for y'all as well. You don't have to be local. You can do my settle down sessions online. So just send me a direct message or email me if you're interested. And then, what else? I don't know. Just give yourself some love this week. Really. Give yourself some love. Oh, that's the other thing. That's the other thing I was going to say, so you can show up for your community. That's it. This next week, I'm introducing my son and our nonprofit and our first community venture. I'm so stinking excited about this. This is going to be aimed for anyone in the community who wants to participate, but especially those who want to bring their kids, especially your boys. Here's the deal, yo. Your kids won't grow up knowing how to be in service to their community unless you show them. This is what I'm realizing. Like, I talk about it to my son, and we did stuff when he was really little, but then my life got a little crazy for a little while, a little wonky. I had some evolving to do. A little bit of lightening of the heart, if you know what I mean. Go back to that Mott deal. I had to learn to love and let go. Yeah, let go and let God. And so I stepped out of the loop of community service programs, and so my son hasn't been directly involved in a heartbeat in a minute. So I'm kicking those back off, and he is going to be a great part of this first community project. And he is encouraged to recruit friends and boys in the community who want to be of service. I say that with a that also is to parents and counselors in the community who might know of some kids who need some restructuring. Shoulda never did meet a problem kid that I couldn't strike a good vibe with. Yes, I'm a former problem kid. So this is a big deal to me. I'm very partial to our community, and it's a super big deal that my son grows up understanding that everyone isn't raised in the same way that he is, and we're not all afforded the same things. I've shared this several times with y'all. My mom started taking me to volunteer in the Special Olympics when I was 5 years old, and it's one of the greatest gifts of my life to learn that I'm not the same as everyone, and everyone's not the same as me. And God put a lot in my tank, and with that, I think I have some responsibilities to give back, and so does my son. And my whole family's actually involved in this first endeavor. So I'm super excited to share with you guys. And but I'm gonna wait till he is actively involved in that, and then you'll be able to. I'll create a Facebook event, and you'll be able to sign up to help. And really, what we're doing here, you're gonna be able to do in your own community. That's what's up. So you know, we're in a transitional time in our community. We cannot wait until everything is crazy and distraught and wait for systems to come and rebuild it. It's time to start creating some little programs and little bits of connection, little bit by little bit. Like, get to know your damn neighbors. Excuse me. First, get to know yourself. First, get to know yourself, then get to know your neighbors. But there's no human being on this earth who's not a little bit tripped out right now and not in need of connection and some help and support. So be the one that steps up and opens your mouth. I'm pulling a card for us. How funny. Now that my eyes are all teary. I got Mary of Miracles, number 31, 3 and 1. 3 and 1 makes foe. 4 is the sign of stability and manifestation and progress. Oh, I'm not there yet. My book. What am I doing? Okay. Mary says, the Christian goddess Mary, Mother of Miracles, has come to celebrate with you today. She is here to remind you. Of all the amazing wonders that are everywhere in your life right now. Look around you, especially at all of the synchronistic events that have already taken place. Ever since you were born, events and opportunities have come together to support you, guide you, show you love, and present the world as you see it. Look closely and see the hand of the divine working on your behalf. You are a powerful co-creator, and so you are responsible and accountable for the thoughts, feelings, and beliefs that seed your field of dreams. Remember, miracles are uncanny evidence that from the invisible world, life springs into form without any reasonable cause for the effect. Mary gave birth as the great goddess was shown to do long before the Christian myth of Mary became real. She too proved herself to be the very essence of creation itself. In this moment, Mary reminds you of those miracles that you too can call into being. You don't need a cause or any evidential fact or calculation to believe and then see that miracles rise up in the conditions of your life. When Mary appears, you are reminded that you will never run out of miracles. That is stinking beautiful because it's right on time with turn the power on. You've got it within. You know, I don't say this in an insensitive way. I say this with the compassion and the strength of a mother. If you're in a place right now where the world is crazy, show up. Show up. And heed where you are and ask, what is it for you to learn and how you can be of service? It's the best thing we can do right now. Regardless of where we are and what's going on in our lives, what is it you would have me see? And how can I be of service? I am the dreamer of my dream. That's our universe card. I'm always crying. Beth says I have such an amazing soul. I'm a good girl, Beth. But I tell you, first of all, thank you. Y'all know I didn't always roll this way. I used to get in a lot of trouble. I think that's important to say for people who only know me now. Like, I tell stories, it's really funny, and my son's like, just shakes his head. Like, he's like, I can't even imagine you like that. I'm like, yep. Every day of every year for a really long time. So, and the thing is too, as I say that, let me also say this. I was saying to someone today or yesterday, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't trade a thing. For those who don't know, again, like I'm a pretty hardcore recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I've been detained a lot of times, one time with a 0.416 blood alcohol level, totally coherent, given nutrition advice, the sheriff deputy detaining me. I remember all of it. I used to get in a lot of trouble, and I used to act in really ill-behaved ways. And then I decided to put down the high cost of low living and get sober and change the way I operated. And then quite a few years later, I have undergone a pretty significant spiritual process that has changed my absolute identification with and perspective of everything. And so it's different now, but I wouldn't trade a bit of it, you know? I actually think that all of it was necessary to temper my ability to hold so much compassion now. How cool is that? I'm sharing this specifically because some of you have kids who are in the disease. Some of you who think it's never going to get any better. Hold on. Hold on and show up. the things that are burning to the ground and that are on fire, it's because they're over. And there's a purification process happening. The transmutation happens when you let the old go so that the new can grow, you know? And so if you're able, or if you are willing to show up in that process, and if you are willing to trust that there is a higher order working in your favor, and if you are willing to allow that it's pretty much going according to plan, and it's your job to see it that way, and then to basically adopt a useful attitude, then life can become more remarkable than one ever thought possible. That's what's happened for me. So I would take every concussion and every arrest and every heinous altercation because it's made me who I am. So that's a good deal today. It's a good deal. It's also made it so I won't go back. I ain't going back. So that's all I have for you all this evening. Thank you so much for joining me. Please do join my, subscribe to my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio of this video. Please shop my store and try Woo Spice. Message me if you're interested. I haven't put that on there yet. And if you want something different, please let me know. And then I will be coming out with more information on scalar healing and quantum nutrition. It's the wave of the future. Ha! Play on words, scalar wave. I'm a science nerd. That's awesome. But send me a direct message or send me an email if you are interested. This also works for your children and it works for pets. When I say I never met a problem kid that I couldn't strike a vibe with, my experience is I work with children that are having extremely difficult times calming down and staying out of their own way, possibly hurting themselves. And after our first meeting, they are more calm. They experience significant change within the first meeting, and their operating system seems to be able to reset and calm down quite a bit. And the degree of decompression is significant. So more coming on that. I love each and every one of you. Remember, these are divine times of change, and it's planet Earth. Adaptation and evolution sometimes come in the form of creative chaos. But remember, it's just under construction, and it's all going the right way, right? So again, I can't stress how important that is right now as Pluto gets ready to come direct. How important it is to adopt a belief system that it's all going the right way and it's all evolving to a higher vibration, which is eminently and absolutely good. Okay? That's really important, because the transitional part in the middle of getting there is going to look like a shit show. And it's going to feel like a shit show while we don't have the same rules and the same systems to identify with and the same structures to depend upon. So as that's happening, many are going to lose what they identify with and identify from. And so it's going to feel really crazy. And so as that happens, just remember, we're going in the right direction, and we're of the most service when we decide that God's got it. That's Jesus talking, saying, turn the other cheek. Decide it's all in divine favor, and you are noting the chaos and putting your attention on the next right thing, right? So, because that's the only thing we have power over. We only have power over our own power and how we choose to engage it through our attention and our energy. Yes. So, if you decide that it's all good and focus on dreaming your own beautiful dream, you will bring the highest vibration to the collective. You will actually improve your surroundings. You will improve your health. I swear to God. It's the gospel vibrational truth. It gives me hope too. That's why I'm sharing. So, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me.